Hello, this is Ed Hamler with your World in Review. An all-out Hitler coup run by Barack Obama is currently a live option. It's in the works now. Now that Obama has blood on his hands, having issued the order to murder an American citizen, no American is safe. There's currently nothing standing in between Obama and a Night of the Long Knives purge of his political enemies in the name of state secrets or national security. The death warrant for Anwar al-Awlaki was submitted to Barack Obama for his signature by a secret White House committee, a subset of the National Security Council. Awlaki was only one of the growing number of targeted American citizens whose names have been placed on a kill or capture list by this secret execution committee. Although indications of the existence of this kill panel or the other death panel under the direct control of Barack Obama himself have found their way to the press, there is no public record of the committee's operations or its decisions, nor is there any law establishing its existence or setting out the rules by which it is to operate. Any inquiries into its operations under the Freedom of Information Act or even injunctions filed in federal court to protect the lives of Americans who are on this kill-on-sight target list are immediately denied, with the Obama administration's lawyers invoking state secrets to justify refusal or disclosure. In fact, this kind of injunction was filed in late 2010 by al-Awlaki's father, a full year before his son's assassination.
I have two words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
Obama's psychology is that of Adolf Hitler's, plain and simple. When the news came of the successful hit on al-Awlaki, Obama celebrated his first successful extrajudicial murder amidst cheers and standing ovations. And not only was Awlaki successfully snuffed, but Obama's hit squad also scored a second American, a low-level propagandist for Inspire magazine by the name of Samir Khan. As some might say, Obama killed two birds with one drone. The point is not the individual cases as such, or whether or not the accused were innocent or guilty. The point is that Obama has now crossed the line that no preceding administration has crossed, a fact that even Dick Cheney applauded. With the same arrogant and malevolent disregard for the rule of law under the Constitution as with the Libya War or the establishment of the dictatorial Super Congress, King Obama has now, by his royal decree, declared that the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which declares that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, to be null and void, and bragged about it on his campaign trail. As Lyndon LaRouche stated, as long as Obama remains in power, no American life is safe. Former DIA official Colonel Patrick Lang recently commented on this, saying, "It seems to be exactly the kind of arbitrary law and judicial practice that caused our ancestors to rebel against the 18th century British government." Now, that's absolutely the case. What's going on is the fact that we have a British agent, Obama, stuck in the White House to strip away the principles of our U.S. Constitution and erase the tradition of the American Revolution. That's his job. That's why Obama was chosen for this office by the British. This has been the intention of the British monetarist empire since the death of Franklin Roosevelt, in fact. That's what the Vietnam War was about. That's what the assassination of Kennedy was about. That's what 9/11 was about. Destroying the United States. As we showed in our feature documentary, 9/11 10 years later, Dick Cheney and George Bush used the British-Saudi orchestrated 9/11 attacks to launch a Hitler-style dictatorship for the first time in the United States, which gave us the Patriot Act and the unlawful conduct in a fraudulent war, which included torturing prisoners and the move to privatize the U.S. military, among other things. This long process of chipping away the American Constitution and building up dictatorship that can justifiably be called the post-9/11 system is what is now being consolidated under Barack Obama and his administration, for no other purpose than to destroy our country. Now, another aspect of this current coup is clearly seen in the rapid push for a private U.S. military. The concept of a private military in modern warfare goes all the way back to the feudal crusader system, where kings would pay off a bunch of mercenaries to pillage entire lands, conquering them and inflicting a reign of terror against those that would challenge it to keep other nations in line. This was also a key aspect of the Adolf Hitler dictatorship, under the pretext that the paranoid and mentally diseased Hitler could not trust the nation's military to commit the levels of terror and mass murder he would ultimately achieve with the Waffen-SS. Since the death of Franklin Roosevelt, though, in the United States, and the changes made under two W. Bush administrations up to the current Obama administration, the United States has seen drastic changes in the structure of the U.S. military, which raises questions about the infrastructure for dictatorship that's being set up right now in the military branch of our government. This past June, it was reported in a testimony before the Commission on Warfare Contracting by Undersecretary of State for Management Patrick Kennedy that the department planned to hire 5,100 strong force to protect diplomatic personnel, guard embassy buildings, and operate a fleet of aircraft and armored vehicles. The State Department has awarded a series of multi-million-dollar private security companies for guard services, including a $974 million award to SOC Inc., to guard the embassy in Baghdad, $1.5 billion to Triple Canopy Inc. for mobile security, and $401 million to Global Strategies Group Incorporated for guarding a consulate in Basra. The State Department has also awarded a contract for medical services. Now, despite recent warnings about unchecked fraud and abuse associated with wartime contracting, the number of private contractors and costs associated with them are set to dramatically increase in the coming transition from the military to the State Department in Iraq and Afghanistan. Representative Darrell Issa, chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, estimated that the State Department is set to increase its manpower in Iraq and Afghanistan from 8,000 to 17,000. The great majority will be contractors for security, medical maintenance, aviation, and other functions. Recently, Representative Issa sent a letter to President Barack Obama demanding answers on our current use or overuse of private military, saying, "Americans would be shocked to learn that during your administration, in fact, the numbers of private security contractors in Iraq and Afghanistan have drastically increased. Despite poor oversight and unacceptable levels of waste, fraud, and abuse, the numbers of private security contractor boots on the ground and the price tag have only gone up during your administration." Under the Bush administration, similar kinds of questions on the dependence of private contractors were raised by Representative Henry Waxman, chairman of the Oversight Committee, who held hearings to probe the administration's dependence on private security, like Blackwater, in a series of hearings in 2007. Issa, in his letter to Obama, pointed out that when all this was happening in 2007, Barack Obama was still on the campaign trail, but foreshadowing what we now see coming out of his administration. He said then, "I do not believe we have an answer to Chairman Waxman's questions." So as we said in the beginning, the threat of an all-out Hitler coup is now a live option in the minds of Obama's controllers. We're not talking years from now or even months. We're talking now. There's a deep-seated apparatus inside the United States institutions who've been pursuing this option for some time, decades even, including former Vice President Dick Cheney and others. They, along with their masters inside the City of London, are ready to pull the switch now. They're desperate, and they know they're running out of time. It's like the race in spring 1933 to install Hitler as dictator of Germany before Roosevelt could consolidate his power as president of the United States. As we've stated, a dramatic shift in global politics has occurred, both with the emerging power bloc between Russia and China, with the option of a three-power alliance with a post-Obama United States, and with the growing juggernaut of support inside both the U.S. Congress and the newly awakened American people for Glass-Steagall, which will destroy the empire and not only stop this current Hitler coup in its tracks, but eliminate fascism altogether through the cancellation of London's monetarist power. The race now is to do that and remove Obama through constitutional means before we reach the point of no return in this current move for dictatorship.